It was on a cold Tuesday morning in February 2019 that David went to Terminal 3 at Heathrow to join the Emirates flight to Dubai and onwards to Hyderabad. Arriving Wednesday morning, David journeyed onwards to Bhuani and Sheetal's home via a taxi. The driver, not knowing the area, meant that prayer was necessary, and prayers were answered, and a helpful man on a motorbike helped to find the home. After a couple of nights, it was onwards to Vijayawada, the nearest airport to the villages David was due to minister in. The first engagement was in the village of Parali, and we stopped on the way to pray with this family in their palm leaf thatched cottage. The gospel meeting was in a large field with several hundred people eager to hear the message. David spoke on passages from Romans which described the path to salvation. After the meeting, everyone enjoyed a late supper. The following day, David spoke at the pastors' conference in Kalapallam. It was quite hot under the tent, but we explored how we can know the mind of Christ. On Sunday, we went to see the children in the orphanage provided by the pastor and his family. They're busy building a purpose-built home to replace the 2 houses being used at the moment. It's quite a challenge to raise the money for this significant project. Sunday also took us to church in the village of Panur, where there was a warm welcome in the traditional style, with garland and flower petals before the service started. We looked at Peter's faith, as described in Matthew 14. After the service, we had a tasty lunch, and 2 of the church members got to work to give David an Indian massage. Very relaxing. On Monday, we went to a service for leprosy sufferers, during which David shared his testimony of God's goodness before helping to distribute aid to the 60 or more attendees. And so on to the airport for a 1-hour flight to Chennai with a curiously named airline SpiceJet, which flies turboprops. The main reason for going to India in February, rather than the usual January or November, was to join Samuel and Keerthana's wedding celebrations. This picture shows their engagement service on Wednesday morning, before the wedding service Wednesday afternoon. We were welcomed by the church band and took our seats in Egmore Methodist Church, in which the couple were married. There was no shortage of clergy, with 4 bishops and around 30 other South Indian ministers, as well as others in the congregation. To complete a busy day, the reception was held in the evening in a nearby venue. With lots of official photographs being taken, who could resist a sneaky snap of Pastor Timothy, Glory and Kevin? We set off for Bangalore by car at 5 a.m. the next morning, enjoying a pit stop on the way. It was a 7.5-hour drive, so we needed a break. The following day was the second reception, primarily for friends who couldn't make the journey to Chennai. Several hundred people enjoyed the formalities and the sumptuous banquet that followed. After a rest day on Saturday, it was an early start for the 7 a.m. service, which included praise and worship with a message from God's Word. The first service was followed by a youth service, a second main service, and a further youth service, each with a different sermon. It was a joy to celebrate communion in India, the first time we had been there on the first Sunday of the month, when communion is celebrated. A further encouragement was to visit the enlarged partnership school. Although it was a government holiday, several children were present. Here we see one lad practicing his writing skills, something which is now much easier in the larger building. Little ones enjoyed ring-a-ring of roses, although I confess one rose didn't fall down. This young lady is working on an embroidery, and the school is looking to open a tailoring school soon. This message of "My presence will go with you" sums up the experience of ministering in 3 cities and 4 villages in 13 days. Our auto rickshaw was driven by a church member. In summary, an interesting and very different visit this year, with a variety of culinary delights, with 6 flights, a taxi, motorbike, hired car, auto rickshaw, and plenty of walking.